Most men don't lose their path in life because of war, poverty, or chaos. They lose it because they forget who they are around women. When a man lacks internal control, he becomes externally controlled, flinching at every glance, bending to every mood, and constantly seeking approval from someone who should never hold that much power over him. So here's the truth. This video isn't about getting the girl. It's about not losing yourself in the process. Why do so many men become weak the moment they're attracted to someone? Why does confidence turn into overexposure? Why do we compromise our standards, our purpose, for a fleeting moment of validation? Stoic philosophy isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being rooted. It teaches one thing clearly. A man who does not rule his emotions will be ruled by them, especially in relationships. These 9 principles aren't games or tactics. They're reminders, warnings, what not to do if you want to maintain your masculine integrity and peace. And the first one? It's the one that separates a man with presence from a man who lives in quiet desperation, chasing what he should be attracting. Point 1. Never chase her validation. The moment you start chasing a woman's validation, you place her above your values. You stop being the man and start becoming the performer. A Stoic man doesn't seek applause. He seeks alignment. And when you bend your behavior to gain her attention, approval, or affection, you trade your authenticity for acceptance. That's weakness disguised as charm. Validation seeking looks like texting her constantly just to get a reply. It's changing your stance just to avoid disagreement. It's apologizing when you've done nothing wrong. It's trying to earn what should flow naturally. Marcus Aurelius said, "The approval of others is not a guide for what is right." When you chase her validation, you become emotionally dependent. And emotionally dependent men are easy to manipulate, control, or discard. Here's the truth. If a woman respects you, you'll know. If she doesn't, no amount of proving yourself will change that. So stop auditioning. Speak what you mean. Walk your own path. Let her meet you there. A man doesn't need her to approve of him. He needs to approve of the man he becomes, even when no one is clapping. Point 2. Never overshare your emotions. A man without emotional discipline is a man without direction. Oversharing your emotions may feel honest, but without restraint, it becomes self-sabotage. There's a difference between vulnerability and volatility. Stoicism doesn't tell you to suppress your feelings. It tells you to understand them, master them, and express them with strength, not desperation or emotional chaos. When a man dumps every insecurity, fear, or emotional impulse on a woman, hoping she'll fix him or make him feel better, he unknowingly burdens her with the role of his emotional guardian. That's not intimacy. That's imbalance. It turns attraction into pressure. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you speak every passing thought or feeling, you make the imagined real and expose yourself as unstable rather than self-aware. A woman respects the man who feels deeply but acts calmly, not the one who turns every mood into a monologue or crisis. This doesn't mean silence. It means strategic self-expression. Speak when it brings clarity. Share when it builds connection. But never unload to relieve pressure. You are your own anchor. And a man who needs someone else to regulate his emotions has already lost control of his life and his frame. Point 3. Never make her your mission. When a man makes a woman his mission, he loses himself. His purpose, once sharp and grounded, gets blurred by infatuation and emotional dependency. Stoicism teaches that fulfillment comes from within, from living in accordance with your values, your duties, and your inner order. The moment you make her your mission, you outsource your meaning and fracture your focus. You stop moving toward your goals and start orbiting hers. You become reactive, adjusting your path to fit her moods, preferences, or approval. That's not connection. That's neediness. Epictetus warned, "Never depend on the admiration of others. There is no strength in it." A woman is not your savior, nor your destination. She may walk beside you, but the road must be yours. Men who make women their mission often lose both themselves and the woman, because the masculine energy of purpose is what draws her in the first place. If you abandon your path for her, you lose polarity. If you stay on your path with discipline and direction, you become grounded, rare, and respected. A woman can enrich your world, but she must never become the center of it. Purpose first, always, before we continue. If this message is hitting something real for you, pause for a second. Most content online tells men to chase more, say more, do more. But here, we focus on being more stable, more focused, more self-respecting. If that's what you're building, subscribe now. Not because I asked, but because it aligns with the man you're becoming. Now, let's get into the next principle, one that most men ignore and pay the price for. Point 4. Never react emotionally. A man who reacts emotionally is a man who's easily controlled. And control, not love, is often what people seek when they test your emotions. Stoicism doesn't say to be numb, it says to be still, internally unmoved. Even when provoked, your emotions are data, not commands. And when you let them hijack your response, you surrender your power to the moment. She raises her voice. You snap back. She pulls away. You chase harder. She tests you. You over-explain, justify, beg. That's not strength. That's instability. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional self-control is not just attractive. It's necessary for a man to lead himself. A woman may stir your feelings. That's natural. But your reaction must be chosen, not automatic. Your calm is your frame, and your frame is your fortress. When you lead with emotion, you're easy to manipulate. But when you lead with principle, even chaos can't shake you. Don't let her drama become your downfall. Breathe, observe, then act. From clarity, not impulse. The world respects a man who can't be rattled. Point 5. Never compete for her attention. A man who competes for a woman's attention has already placed her on a pedestal. And once you do that, you're no longer operating from strength. You're operating from scarcity. Stoicism teaches that we don't chase what we cannot control. You can't control her attention, but you can control your self-respect and where you invest your time. If she's giving her attention to others, let her. That's her choice. Your duty is not to compete. Your duty is to walk. Seneca said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." When you try to outshine other men to win her over, you betray yourself. You step into a performance instead of remaining grounded in who you are. A high-value man doesn't beg for space in anyone's mind. He creates such clarity in his presence that others either align or fall away. Let others fight for scraps. Your attention is not a currency to be traded for approval. It's a standard that defines your worth. You are the prize. Not because she sees it, but because you know it. And a man who knows his worth doesn't compete. He chooses. Point 6. Never break your routine for her. A man's routine is his discipline in motion. It's the structure that keeps his mind focused, his body sharp, and his purpose alive. Break that for anyone, especially a woman. And you signal that your time, priorities, and energy are negotiable, that your path can be derailed by distraction. Stoicism is about order, self-governance. When you sacrifice your schedule for emotional spontaneity or momentary pleasure, you lose control, not just of your time, but of your identity. A woman may want you to skip the gym, cancel plans, or stay up late talking. And while connection matters, compromise must never come at the cost of consistency. Marcus Aurelius lived by one rule. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I am rising to do the work of a man." That includes your rituals, your non-negotiables, not out of rigidity, but out of respect for your mission. When a woman sees that your routine is sacred, she'll either rise to meet your standard or remove herself. Either outcome is power. Because a man who breaks routine for love soon forgets who he is. A man who keeps it remembers who he must become. Point 7. Never try to fix her. You are not her therapist. You are not her savior. You are not her project manager. You are a man, and that role is enough. Trying to fix a woman is often disguised as love, but at its core, it's control. You see chaos, and you want to organize it. You see pain, and you want to heal it. But here's the hard truth. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. Stoicism teaches acceptance of what is. not illusion over what could be. It tells us to lead ourselves first, not micromanage the storms of others. When you try to fix her emotional roller coaster, her past trauma, or her bad habits, you take responsibility for someone else's healing journey, and in doing so, abandon your own. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish. Wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Apply this to people, especially in relationships. Support her? Yes. Encourage her? Sure. But take on the job of her transformation? That's ego, not love. You're not here to fix her. You're here to stay whole, clear, and grounded, no matter who she chooses to be. Point 8. Never lose your boundaries. A man without boundaries is like a fortress without walls. Easily entered, easily conquered. Boundaries are not about control. They're about self-respect. They define where you end and others begin. And the moment you allow them to be crossed, especially for a woman, you begin to shrink. Stoicism teaches clarity of principle. If you don't know what's acceptable and what's not, you will be molded by the emotions and demands of others. You tolerate disrespect once, and it becomes normal. You sacrifice your standards for affection, and you set the tone for a relationship built on weakness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Apply that to how you live, love, and interact. Boundaries are not barriers to intimacy. They are requirements for healthy connection. A woman will test them, not always maliciously, but naturally, to see if you stand on something real. And if you fold, she may smile, but she'll lose respect. State your lines. Keep them clear. Enforce them calmly, not with anger, but with certainty. Because a man who doesn't protect his space will lose more than time. He'll lose himself. Point 9. Never let her disrespect go unchecked. Disrespect is a test. How you respond tells her everything she needs to know about your strength or your weakness. Letting it slide might feel like peace, but in her eyes, it reads as permission. And every unchecked comment, insult, or manipulation chips away at your masculine presence. Stoicism isn't about turning the other cheek, it's about holding the line with clarity. Not anger, not ego, but principle. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." A good man doesn't tolerate what violates his values. That doesn't mean shouting, threatening, or punishing. It means calmly stating, "That's not acceptable to me." Once, with composure. And if it happens again, you walk, without drama, without delay. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. And if you allow disrespect to linger, it will multiply. This final rule isn't just about her. It's about your entire life. Because if you can't confront disrespect in a relationship, you'll tolerate it everywhere. A woman might love a strong man, but she will only respect the one who respects himself first. These 9 principles aren't just dating advice. They're reflections of something deeper: your character, your discipline, and your self-command. Never chase her validation. Never overshare your emotions. Never make her your mission. Never react emotionally. Never compete for her attention. Never break your routine. Never try to fix her. Never lose your boundaries. And never let disrespect slide. Each one is a reminder. The greatest power a man can hold is control over himself. Not over others, but over his reactions, his habits, his purpose. You don't follow these principles to manipulate. You follow them so that no matter who comes or goes, you remain solid, anchored in reason, not ruled by emotion. Some men live their lives trying to be liked, but the Stoic man, he lives to be respected, especially by the man in the mirror. If that's who you're becoming, you're in the right place. Subscribe for more videos grounded in truth, strength, and masculine clarity. Like the video if it brought value. Drop a comment. Which rule hit hardest for you? Until next time, stay rooted, stay sharp, and remember, your peace is your power.